Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Broken Wing Racing League Round 2 here at Interlagos. We're going to be having a extended qualifying session, and then we will go into a 15-minute race, followed by a 25-minute race. So the sprint race first, and the 25-minute race is going to go with the top 6 being inverted on from the race results of the first sprint race. So everybody's taking their out lap, and I am going to have to on board here. Elliott Burton, Eddie Layton, Peter Flanner. Justin Scott is going to be might be the first one out there. Yeah, it's Justin Scott, first driver to start his the qualifying session. Like I said, it's a 15-minute qualifying, a little bit longer. Usually do 10-minute qualifyings. It's a heat race, 15 minutes. And then to the 25-minute race with an inverted the top 6. On board with Justin Scott, car number 69. Nice. Let's see what he can do in his first time lap. The time to beat here, folks, is going to be a 132.2. The fastest time that anyone had in practice was a 132.233. Everybody in the top 10 was doing 132s. Outside the top 10, it was closer to everyone sticking into the 133s with a couple outliers in the 134s and 135s. But everyone seems to be really quick here. Really be interesting to see what Justin Scott can do here. As it stands, he's predicted to do a 132.8, which could land him in the top 10. The margins from the P1 to P10 was a 0.2 hundredths of a second to 0.8. Most people, I didn't see any 0.9s there. Getting really close. That inside pit wall there. Let's see what he's able to accomplish with that one. Justin Scott does a 133.2. And right now he's second fastest, and it's going to be, the order's going to keep changing. But we're going to be highlighting Peter Flanner, who has just done the first, or is P1 right now, fastest lap on the board with the 132.4. Trey Mistak behind with 132.4. Chris Lambeth in P3. Andrew Korstecki in P4. Elliott Burton in P5. Justin Scott sitting in P6 still with that 133.2. Just behind him is Brandon Renfro. Chris Stewart is in P8. Okay, Trey Mistak comes across the line and takes P2. Aaron Myers also across the line with into P3. Everything's shaking up a little bit. Chris Stewart in P9, Eddie Layton in 10, Eric Rodriguez in 11, Carter Nielsen in 12, Steve McAllister in 13, Bryce Bombach into 15. Darren Rutherford goes to P5, Matthew Wyckoff to P13. Kenneth Tesmer in P18, Charles Weed in 19, Gareth Ham in 20. Somebody just jumped the queue there, and I don't know which one that was. But going on board with Chris Stewart here, his driver is about to cross the line. Right now they're P10, but if my Delta is positive here, he is going to be climbing the charts. He is now P4 with the 132.734. Very good drive for him. Justin Scott, another driver who is in the top 10, P10, but it says he's 1.1 seconds faster on this lap. if that is the case, it's gonna be a pretty big lap for him. No. Aaron Myers crosses the line to take P1 away from Peter Flanner with a 132.331. And he's going to call it there. Trey Mistack, maybe a bit of a flyer here. Let's stay on board with him and see where he can make up here. He's got to beat a 132.3. Predictably, it looks like he's going to might improve by a full 10th off his last lap, which was a 132.4. See as he gets power out, and here's just a couple corners. Can Trey Mistack take P1 away from Aaron Myers as he crosses the line? He shakes up just one position there from Peter Flanner. He goes 132.4. It's 8 thousandths of a second faster than Peter Flanner. He's got to improve a little bit more by at least 2 tenths if he's going to want to take P1 from Aaron Myers. Chris Stewart still holding strong in P4. Elliot Burton in P5. Chris Chitterling comes into the top 10 here and goes to P9 with a 133. Even. Actually, it's close to even. Mark Foley crosses the line to take P9 from Chris Chitterling as Brandon Renfrew goes to P11. Austin McGill to P5. And down further back, we have Dylan Maroney in P20. Blaine Hall in P13. Is that Richard Saavedra in P21. Cardinal Nielsen in P23. Eric Knunsman in P24. Let's see. I think Chris Lambeth here might be actually improving by 2 tenths, which would aid in the gain here, folks. From P1 to P9, actually to P10 now, it's a 132.3 from the leader and a 0.9 from P10. So only separated by a second here, and the margins are very small. So Justin Scott just goes to P6, overtaking Elliot Burton by 3 thousandths of a second. Eric Rodriguez moves up a couple positions there. He goes to P15 off his last lap with 133.2. Chris Chitterling goes to P10, overtaking Mark Foley. Oh, and say no more. Mark Foley puts in another lap and goes to P6. Doesn't have to worry about Chris Chitterling anymore. As back on board with Chris Lambeth. It does look like he's a little faster on this lap. And no major changes in the leaderboard just yet. Aaron Myers is still P1 with a 132.331. Somebody's got to beat that. Peter Flanner looks to be on a flyer of a lap, but we'll take a look in just a second. Chris Lambeth, if he's made the necessary improvements off this lap after his last lap, it looks like he can move himself up from P10 up to P5. Hands down with the time he has. Elliot Burton jumps to P5 over Austin McGill with a 132.7. And is that a change for Chris Lambeth? It doesn't look like it. It's unfortunate. Oh, there's a car off the side there. Peter Flanner just has to find a 10th. Actually, 1.5 would 0.150 would be just enough to overtake P1 and P2. And it seems like he's just slightly up on his delta. As it stands, he's predicted to not finish his lap. Speaking a little too soon on that one. Let's see. Mark Foley is in P7. Not sure if he's going to improve upon this lap at the moment. Brandon Renfro was out in, I think, P15, but he puts it in P9 right now with a 132.8. A lot of the grades are in the 133s, 134s. Further back in the grid here, we have Charles Craig in P30. Jose Wen has not gone out yet. Jeremy Demeza has not gone out yet. And Austin McMines has not gone out yet. I'm going to take a look at this real quick. Dylan Maroney out on an out lap. It's a little unsettled there. Just parks it. Mark Foley also out on an out lap. And loses the rear, and that's a little Opolaka right there. Trey Mistack. I think he's going for he is P2. And just parks it on the side there. Peter Flanner also in an incident here. It was a little wide. Nothing major, but oh. Also parking it. Charles Craig in P30. Oh, I don't know what happened there. A blip. All right. Back on board, we have Aaron Myers, who has set the fastest lap. His best time is a 132.299. So he's gone quicker, actually. He's gotten just a little bit quicker, about a 10th quicker. But it's going to keep the others at bay here, as Trey Mistek and Peter Flanner have not responded to the time that he's put on the board. I would say like a lot of people right now are in that same boat where they have not improved upon their time. This is a longer qualifying session at 15 minutes instead of 10. So we are doing a sprint race, which is 15 minutes, and then a 25-minute race with the top 6 inverted. Should make things a little interesting for the second race. It's still going to overall be, 45 minutes. 40 minutes? Trying to do some math. There's not a lot of drivers out there on the track at the moment, which is kind of surprising. Oh, his qualifying is completely ended. That's probably why. So the order as follows: Aaron Myers in P1, Trey Mistack P2, Peter Flander P3, Chris Stewart P4, Justin Scott in P5, Elliot Burton in P6, and Austin McGill in P7, Mark Foley in P8, Brandon Renfro in P9, Darren Rutherford in P10, Chris Lambeth in P11, Chris Chitterling in P12, Blaine Hall in 13, Andrew Korstecki in P14, Matthew Wyckoff in 15, Eric Rodriguez in 16, Eddie Layton in 17, Craig Carroll in 18, Dylan Maroney in 19, Joshua Heron in 20, Richard Sedver in 21, Eric Koonsman in 22, Kenneth Tesmer in 23, Charles Whedon in 24, Gardner Nielsen in 25, Steve McAllister in 26, Kyle Howe in P27, Austin McMines in 28, Bryce Bombach in P29, Gareth Hammond 30, Charles Craig in 31, Jose Wen in 32, and Jeremy Desmond 33. Man, that's a lot of drivers on the grid. As we are about to go underway. And the safety car is taken off. And just a reminder, folks, this is going to be a 15-minute sprint race. The top 6 will be inverted for the second race, the longer 25-minute race. And safety car is off, and we're about to go green. That flag's about to wave.
Green flag, green flag.
And there it goes. Looks like Aaron Myers is able to hold P1. Oh, we got a slide off in the back there. That is... looks to be Blaine Hall. The OnlyFans livery. His wing is still intact, so he's just got to get back up there on track. As we go live, Trey Mistack is still in P2. Ooh. That is a... We'll take a look at that. That's Peter Flanner come together, another driver, and he is off. And that is not great for his start of the race. He was P3. Tiny incident there. Change that. So that was Chris Stewart and Peter Flander that came together as Chris Schitterling and Andrew Korstecki have been battling out there. Car number 46 of Andrew Korstecki loses one position to Chris Schitterling. He's got the defensive line down. Kind of opens the door for Darren Rutherford right behind in the Lambo there. And it looks like he's going to get past Andrew Korostecki. There's Eric Rodriguez on his inside. And what seemingly looked like a good start of the race there, Andrew Korostecki was up 4 positions and just lost 2. Austin McGill in P5 he started 7th and he's gained 2 positions. Oh. And we'll just take a brief look and see what happened to Mark Foley there. And yikes. Just off to the side there. And I was saying good things for Andrew Korostecki, but I might have cursed him there as he has lost the rear. He's going to have to get that back out on track. And we have Matthew Wyckoff also involved in an incident. Ooh! And that's car number 12. I believe Eddie Layton, or no? There, car number 12 on the grid. Whoa. Am I missing something? Looks like Trey Mistak's car is broken. But now it's not broken. There was no crash reported on the on race control. That is absolutely bizarre. He is still holding P2. And who's that in front of him? Peter Flander in P32. That's unfortunate. He was running P3 in the race. We have a really tight pack here in the top 10. All the way up to Darren Rutherford, who's sitting P9. Couple drivers making a little peek to see whether or not they were going to make the move, and they didn't. We have Joshua Herron overtaking Kenneth Tesmer. No, it's Eric Koonsman. He's 12th on the grid. That's what it is. And further back, Andrew Korostecki trying to make a move. Gets Bryce Baum back there for P18. P19? It looks like Bryce Baumbach's going to have to defend again against Austin McMines. He is right on the heels of this driver. Really just trying to hold down a good defense here. So we're on board with Austin McMines. Trying to make a move on Bryce Baumbach for P20. And look at that. Goes for the inside. Gets it. Plants it, and he's gonna continue on. What a move. I got Eddie Layton here as he is looking to overtake Dylan Maroney. On board, we go with Trey Mistack, who is in P2, 2/10 down, 3/10 down from Aaron Myers. It looked like Aaron was going to have a little bit of a breather room after the start. Definitely got away, but Trey Mistack is able to claw back that time. You can see in the background, that's Chris Stewart in P3. Big difference there is there's a 2-second gap between these P2 and P3. Aaron Myers taking the inside line. Staying a little defensive there. And it's not the move yet for Trey Mistack. Oh. And we're going to take a look at Justin Scott, who is sitting in P5. And I honestly don't know what happened there. Just, oh, he hit the rear. That's unfortunate. Let's drop down to P10 with that. I'm sure he can make his way back. Is Chris Chitterling sitting just 2/10 off of Chris Lambeth. Battle of the Chris's for P6. And whatever Chris Chitterling decides to do, he's still got to worry about Darren Rutherford, who's just sitting comfortably on the bumper right now. And just ahead, you can see Elliot Burton and Austin McGill also in the same position. Elliot Burton maybe makes a move here. And he does. He goes for it. Not far enough along. It looks like Austin McGill is going to be able to hold that place for now. And Darren Rutherford making a move on Chris Chitterling. Ooh, a little unsettled as they bumped. But Darren Rutherford has made the move. But is it over? He's kept it really good on the defense. We have Eric Rodriguez passing Eric Koonsman, as well as Andrew Korstecki right back there with him. Ooh, both of them get by. That's a good double pass, and Andrew Korstecki uses his experience to make a move. That's 2 lost for, that was actually Kenneth Tesmer, not Eric Koonsman. Who's it, Eric Koonsman? He's ahead, actually. Here's Alex Howe in the car number 20, or the 23 in position there. The teal and black car on Bryce Bomback. Doesn't quite have the move all the way done yet. As they're going to the start straight finish here. I think it's finally, we could say it's over. There's a couple of drivers that are battling for position. That's Bryce Bombeck in the black and white, and it looks like he's just going to lose a position. Steve McAllister in the blue. Ferrari there. He gets by. That's a position for him. Whoa, whoa. And that was just a little bit of an incident as they come together. Oh no. Yikes. And then further back we have Charles Craig, who just went a little deep there. And Bryce Bomback is in the pits. And that was Matthew Wyckoff, I believe he was involved in that one. Yeah. And Trey Mistak, closest he's ever been, about 1/10, 2/10 back, and still has not been able to make this move on the inside or outside. A lot of drivers, it's a favorite passing spot. That's not happened just yet. Maybe this is the time when he finally makes the move. I think Aaron Myers is planning the car perfectly, strategically. And looking at the lap times, though, Aaron Myers' last lap was a 1:33.1. Trey Mistak's was a 1:33.081. So not far off on time. The fastest lap does go to Trey Mistak. Best lap so far. I'm gonna pop over to Elliott Burton here and Austin McGill, as Austin McGill has just been overtaken by Elliott Burton for P4. On board with Chris Schitterling, who's sitting in P8, 2/10 back from Darren Rutherford. Chris Lambeth ahead of him, Austin McGill. They're all separated by just 3/10, 2/10. Really just found a pack of drivers here. None of them are quite going for it. That is the white flag. So this is the last lap of the sprint race. We're going to pop back on board with Trey Mistak. Is he going to be able to take P1 on the last lap? It doesn't look like Aaron Myers is making any mistakes here. Also a reminder that the top 6 drivers are going to be inverted on the next race, and that lucky few be able to announce in just a second as we go on board. This is Aaron Myers, who takes P1, Trey Mistak, who takes P2, Chris Stewart, who takes P3, Elliott Burton not fighting down the line, get P4, Austin McGill takes P5, Chris Lambert takes P6, Darren Rutherford in 7, Chris Chitterling in 8, Justin Scott in 9, Brandon Renfro in 10, Eddie Layton's crossing line to 11, to Dylan Maroney in 12, Joshua Aaron in 13, Eric Koonsman in 14, Eric Rodriguez 15, Andrew Gorsacki 16, Kenneth Tesmer in 17, Austin McMines in 18, Richard Severa in 19, Kyle Howe in 20, Mark Foley in 21, Steve McAllister in 22, Matthew Wyckoff in 23, Gardner Nielsen in 24, Craig Carroll in 25, Blaine Hall in 26, Charles Whedon in 27, Henry Desma in P28, Charles Craig in P29, Gareth Ham still out there on track. He's going to be taking P30. There's no one behind him. Just a few drivers left. Two retirements from this race, which is Peter Flanner and Bryce Bomback in P31 and 32. It's unfortunate that incident occurred, and it just kind of tanked Peter Flanner's race. Hope he bounces back for the next race. As I'm kind of interested to see how this inverted scenario works. So the order that I called the drivers out is mostly correct, with the exception of top six, which is Chris Lambeth in P1, Austin McGill in P2, Elliot Burton in P3, Chris Stewart in P4, Trey Mistek in P5, Aaron Myers in P6, and then the rest is all the same. And we will get going shortly for the 25-minute race. Yeah, thanks, Chris, for joining. As we are going to be on board with Chris Lambeth, who is going to take us to the green flag with Austin McGill just right beside him, Elliot Burton in P3. And try to find one of those hollow race. What's it, Elliot Burton's in the no. The Valhalla's Aaron Myers there. Two Valhalla teams. That was pointed out to me last stream. Yeah, understandable on that. 5 or 6 of us that run Valhalla. Awesome. Only 3. You guys have very lively liveries. I think they're pretty smooth. They look cool. There is no Taco Bell livery on the grid tonight either. It's sort of sad. As we go green, green, green. Chris Lambeth takes it away ahead significantly right there. Inside, everything's still status quo from the top 6. Just wondering if Aaron Myers is going to be able to make a move on Trey Mistek. The last race, in the sprint race, Trey Mistek was unable to pass Aaron Myers. Had very good defense. Wondering if Aaron can make a change against Trey Mistek here. No changes out of the top 10 so far. On board with Aaron Myers here. We're going to see if on the start straight finish he tries to make a move from his perspective, as well as being able to see a couple of the drivers ahead. It's P1 through P6 we're looking at. Yes, it was inverted. Aaron Myers is the race winner from the last sprint race. Trey Mistek was P2. And so this top 6 have not changed position since the invert. And we do have a move right there. And it looks like Chris Chitterling was about to lose a position to Justin Scott, but he does not. It was close, though. Further back, we have Brandon Renfro on Dylan Maroney. How close these two drivers are going to get as he tries to go for the move. And there goes, I think that's wrong. It's a P12 for Brandon Renfro. My overlay did not match that up correctly. Further up the board, Chris Stewart. Looks like he could be in trouble against Trey Mistack here. Oh. And we're going to go to a replay. Looks like this is Carl Nielsen in P18. It's a little spin there. It's gotta wait for the traffic. And yeah, I think he's back to green there. This is the moment Aaron Myers makes a move on Trey Mistack. Goes for the outside line. Unable to make the move. Stick. Eddie Layton. And Joshua Herron battling for P10. And Eddie Layton looks to make the move. It's over. It's not over. And they're side by side in the next turn. Ooh. Oh, they almost came together right there. Eddie Layton keeping it just ahead. Oh, but is that a dive? No. And that is... We're going to go to Matthew Wyckoff here, who's P15. Just has... rear gone. And he is out of the race. Joshua Herron and Brandon Renfro battling out for P11. And that's... It looks like Joshua Herron comes back and takes P11. Oh, and look at that! He just overtook two people. What a move. I'm actually kind of shocked. I looked over a second, and that's two people in the bag there. Chris Chitterling, only 2/10 away from Darren Rutherford. Gonna pop back to P20 here, but it looks like Blaine Hall is battling for P20. So Jeremy Desma is the lap traffic that they're trying to put through. Kyle Howe is just ahead of him with Steve McAllister in the blue Ferrari behind. On board with Chris Stewart. He's lost a few positions to the Valhalla Racing teams. It's Darren Rutherford ahead, as well as Aaron Myers. Trey Mistack is actually further ahead by a 1.1 second gap. So Aaron Myers wins the sprint race, but it looks like it's going to be a difficult climb for him to get to P1, as nothing has changed from the top 6. Besides that, Chris Stewart is now P7. Go on board here with the... That's not close enough. Looks like Chris Chitterling and Justin Scott just behind, catching this pack in the top 6 right now. There is a little bit of a gap, though, from Trey Mistak to Aaron Myers that kind of formed there. Austin McGill has not made a move yet on Chris Lambeth. Chris Lambeth leading this race. Only 3/10 ahead. Hasn't really pushed away from Austin McGill. The lap times aren't significantly different between these two drivers, but Austin McGill hasn't made a move. Elliot Burton sitting pretty strong in P3. It's got a 4/10 gap to Trey Mistak behind, and Aaron Myers now a 1.3 second gap. 2/10 difference off the last lap. And we have Eric Koonsman overtaken... Oh no. Peter Flair? No. No overtake here. It looked like. Back to Eric Rodriguez here on P14. Looking at Brandon Renfro, who's in P13. 4/10 difference here, but looks like Eric Rodriguez does have maybe not enough pace to get by him. Although Brandon Renfro, at the moment in time, looks like he had a little bit of a faster lap than Dylan Maroney. Is he going to be able to overtake him on the start straight finish here? This is for P12. Does not make the move. Here's Trey Mistak and Elliot Burton, who finally have caught up to Austin McGill and Chris Lambeth, now only separated by 1/10, 2/10 between these drivers here. Anyone's guess is who's going to make the move. And off camera, Brandon Renfro made the move against Dylan Maroney and overtaking him. Just missed that. Unfortunate. I think Elliot Burton is going to be able to make a move before Trey Mistak does. And still no change out of the top 6 so far. Everybody pretty much equal on pace. Everybody also putting in similar lap times. If I was going to say anyone was going to make a move, I thought it would have been Elliot Burton first. Did seem to be getting really close to Austin McGill, who's just ahead of him, our number 21 there. And possibly is this the moment that Trey Mistak makes a move. as he's just clinching ever so much closer to Elliott Burton, and that field is kind of stepping away behind him. Aaron Myers was 1.3 seconds back. Now he's only 0.8. So it looks like Aaron Myers is finding his rhythm there. Just a few more laps and he might be able to catch these guys. And if Elliott Burton tries to make a move and it doesn't stick, he's definitely going to have to watch out because Trey Mistak is going to capitalize. And it doesn't look like anyone's made the move on turn one. And we'll just jump back, further back here to P7 and 8, Chris Stewart and Chris Chitterling here. Battle of the Chris's. Chris Chitterling, who we're on board with, who's in position 8, car number 123. It's only 0.3 back. And Justin Scott in the background of the BMW, the blue BMW of Liquid Moly, getting a little closer to this battle. Well, they're both in Porsches, though. Chris Chitterling, who started this race in P8, is still sitting P8. Not much has changed for him. But Chris Stewart was 3 positions ahead. Oh, and looks like he was trying to get a little racy there. Didn't work out that time. Chris Stewart has lost 3 positions since the start of this race. And over to Kyle Howe here and Craig Carroll, battling for P18. And it's like Craig Carroll able to overtake him. Pull over here to Joshua Heron and Eddie Layton, both in the Mercedes AMG. Ooh. Is Joshua going to try to make a move? It looks like he's peeking, but does not make the move. Justin Scott seemingly is going to try to make a move against Chris Chitterling. They're side by side into the next corner. Giving each other a lot of space. And the move was not done for Justin Scott, but it looks like he's going to try to keep his nose in at that turn. And keeping his nose in right there, still trying to go side by side. Chris Schierling really having to defend here against this move. And is it going to be another lap of them going side by side in a couple of these corners? It's really ruining any aspect that Chris Schierling is going to move up to P7. That they have kind of dropped back away from Chris Stewart there, who's now 3.7 seconds ahead of Chris Schierling. And still no change from the top 6. And Joshua Herron, only 3/10 away from Eddie Layton. Not much has changed out of these two as well. Battle just behind Justin Scott, who's 2.5 seconds ahead of these two drivers. And maybe we finally have something happening here. As Elliot Burton looked to be almost going for a corner there. Is this the moment we finally see? I mean, he's really glued to Austin McGill's bumper. This is a change for position. You can see Trey Mistak in the dash as well. Goes to the inside. Oh. Was not quite there for that one. Ooh. All right, Chris Schierling. Ooh. And Justin Scott came together on the exit of turn 1. We can just see that again. Oof. They're both knocked down for that one. Justin Scott to P9. Or Justin Scott to P15, Chris Schierling to P13. Unfortunate. Bit of a mess there. And Trey Mistak, in that time, got ahead. Actually, I'm just going to pull that back. And he's been ahead of him. Oh. There we go. This is the move that Trey Mistak got on Elliot Burton to take P3. And still remains ahead. Trey Mistak to P3. Aaron Myers, the sprint race winner, is at P5 right now. Has only moved up 1 position. Trey Mistak has moved up 2. Elliot Burton down 1 position there off the start of this race. Is Elliot Burton going to try to make a move? Getting awfully close with some of these drivers here. Trey Mistak almost nearly hitting Austin McGill there. And this is some very fine driving from Chris Lambeth, who's still sitting in P1. Started P1 and still sitting in P1. Austin McGill in P2, started P2. Trey Mistak finished P2 last race. It's now up to P3. Further back in the pack here, we have Craig Carroll, who's P19, and Kyle Howe just ahead of him, and Kenneth Tesmer ahead of Howe there in car number 17 there. Or position 17, right? Rather. And can Craig make a move from Kyle Howe? Or is it going to be Kyle Howe making a move on Kenneth Tesmer? You know, kind of just accordioning away from each other. There's Joshua Heron and Eddie Layton still battling out for P8. Joshua Heron in P9 right now. Maybe this is the moment he finally makes a move here. Behind Eddie Layton for many laps. Go side by side, and I think it's done. No, it's not. Eddie Layton feeling scrappy. He's still ahead. And he's going to have the inside corner there. Keeps it. Keeps position. And that just adds the fire that Brandon Renfro's right behind and is going to make a move as well. These two battling is not great. I would say it's just definitely not great for Joshua Heron there. He's the one that's going to lose out on this. And corner after corner, they're still sitting there side by side. Brandon Renfro now getting his foot in there. He's getting to get ahead of Joshua Heron. And this could go P9. And that's a white flag. This could easily be a P9 for Brandon Renfro if he gets that. Oh no, it's just backs out there. Very good battle. The last lap on the line, Chris Lambert still leading with Austin McGill behind. With almost no tenths between the two, just 1 tenth, 2 tenths. Trey Mistek in P3. And there goes the move for Aaron Myers there, trying to make a move off of on Elliott Burton. Trey Mistek and Elliott Burton going side by side in the final couple corners of this race. And is it going to go to Trey Mistek or Elliott Burton for P3? As they are still side by side. That is Chris Lambeth in P1, Austin McGill in P2, and across the line, Trey Mistek sticks the P3, Elliott Burton in P4, Aaron Myers in P5, Darren Rutherford in P6, Chris Stewart in 7, Eddie Layton across the line to defend against Joshua Heron for P8, Joshua Heron in P9, Brandon Renfro in 10, Eric Rodriguez is going to be crossing the line in P11, Chris Chitterling in 12, Justin Scott in 13, Andrew Korstecki in 14, Dylan Maroney in P15, Austin McMines going to be crossing the line here to take P16, Kenneth Tesmer Crossing line to pick 17, Kyle Howe in P18, Craig Carroll in P19, Peter Flanner in P20. That's 11 positions gained for Peter Flanner. Unfortunately, what happened in the first sprint race knocked him all the way down to the track there. Charles Whedon in P21, Cardinal Nielsen in 22, Mark Foley in P23, Blaine Hall is going to be taking P24, Eric Koonsman going to be taking P25, Gareth Ham in P26. He's gained 4 positions there. Steve McAllister lost 5 positions on this one. It's P27 for him. Jeremy Desma in P28. Charles Craig in P29. Bryce Bomback in 30. Matthew Wyckoff in 31. And Richard Sever in 32. Nice little ending moment there. And thank you all for watching. That was the really interesting. It was a heat race sprint, and then the inverted top 6. Thank you all. Yeah, Kaskin, Kovacs, Chris, thank you all. See you guys next week when we're going to be going to Portimao for round 3. That's it for the stream. Take care.